The Plum in the Golden Vase Original Version Chapter 24, paying homage to Ji's charming appearance in the Yuan Night Opera. It is said that one day, during the Lantern Festival in the sky, and the lanterns in the world, Simon King hung lanterns in the hall and laid out a banquet. On the 16th day of the first lunar month, the whole family enjoys drinking. Simon King and Wu Yunyang were at the top, while the others, Li Jier, Meng Yulu, Pan Jinlian, Li Ping'er, Sun Zui and Simon eldest sister, were all sitting on both sides, all wearing beautiful clothes. Chun Mai, Yuxiao, Yingshan and Orchid Xiang are 4 kinds of musical instruments. Next to them are the zheng and singing boards, playing and singing lantern lyrics. I set up a seat in the east to sit with my son-in-law Chen Jingji. Sure enough, the food and cooking are different, and the fruits are fresh when presented. Xiao Yu, Yuing Xiao, Xiaoluan and Xu Chen were all pouring wine on it. Song Huilian, Lai Wang's daughter-in-law, was sitting on a chair end of the corridor, cracking melon seeds in her mouth. When someone called for wine, he raised his voice and called out, "Come to Anner, Hua Tunner. We want hot wine, please bring it up quickly. No one is here to serve you, and I don't even know where to go." I saw the painting boy scalding the wine. Simon King scolded, "Thief slave, no one is here to serve. Where are you going? Thieves don't fight slaves." The boy came up and said, "Sister-in-law, who is going there? Just say to dad." "Shout, my father scolded me," Huilian said. "Who told you not to serve the boss when he asked for wine? It's none of my business. If you don't scold me, who are you scolding?" Hua Tunger said, "The ground here is clean. My sister-in-law knocked down the melon seed peels all over the ground." "Dad," I scolded him again when he saw it. Huilian said, "The root of the thief. I have a fever in June, so I have to hurry up. No matter what, if you don't sweep the lunch, just throw it away and teach a boy to sweep it. When he asks me, just say it," the painting boy said. "Yeah, sister-in-law, that's all. How can you cooperate with me?" Then he got a broom and swept the skin of melon seeds for him, no matter what. But at Simon's celebration banquet, he saw that his son-in-law Chen Jingji was out of wine, so he ordered Pan Jinlian to deliver a round of wine. Jinlian hurriedly came down, filled a glass of wine, handed it to Jingji with a smile, and said, "Brother-in-law, your father ordered me to drink this glass of wine." While Jingji was receiving the wine, he glanced sideways at the woman and said, "Wu Niang, please excuse me, and wait for my son to eat slowly." The woman turned her body to the light, holding the wine in her left hand. And Jingji, who had just been waiting, he took it with his hand, and with his right hand he twisted the back of his hand. While looking at the crowd, Jingji kicked Jinlian's little foot in the show. The woman smiled and said in a low voice, "You're so greasy. What do you think your father-in-law is going to do to you?" The two of them were flirting and playing in secret, but no one noticed. Unexpectedly, he looked at the woman Song Huilian impatiently from the window outside Muj. He said nothing, thinking to himself, "We are usually very careful and clear in front of us. But who wants to hook up with this young man secretly? I saw the flaw today. And you will find me again tomorrow. You will have it say something." Exactly, in whose courtyard are white roses secretly climbing 3 or 2 branches. Luozu hides no one, but the fragrant fragrance can only be seen by butterflies. After drinking for a long time, Simon King was suddenly sent by Count Ying to invite him to enjoy the lanterns. He told Yunyang, "You can play freely while I go to the second brother Ying's house to have a drink." Dan and Ping'an followed. Yunyang and her sisters ate for a while, but they saw that the Milky Way was clear and shallow, with beads and spots on it. A round bright moon came out from the east, illuminating the courtyard, as if it were daytime. Women may be changing clothes in the room, putting on makeup under the moonlight, or wearing flowers in front of a lamp. Only Yulu, Jinlian and Li Ping'er were holding lotuses together, watching Jingji put flowers in front of the hall. Li Jier, Sun Zui, and Sister Ximen all followed Yunyang. Jinlian then said to the two of them, "His father is not at home today. Let's tell my eldest sister to walk down the street." Huilian said from the side, "Go, ladies, and take me for a walk." Jinlian said, "Since you want to go, you should go back and ask your aunt and your second mother to see if he is going." We are waiting for you here. Na Huilian quickly went to the back. Yulu said, if he doesn't help, wait until I ask him personally. Li Ping'er said, I also put on some clothes inside the house. Just because it's late at night and it's cold. Jin Lian said, Sisterly, you have a coat, bring something for me to wear, so that I don't have to go into the house. Then Li Ping'er agreed. Jin Lian was left alone, watching Jingji put flowers. Seeing no one there, he walked over to Jingji, pinched him, and said with a smile, Brother-in-law is only wearing thin clothes. Doesn't it hurt the cold? I saw the family's son, Little Iron Stick, smiling in front of him, dancing and pulling. Jingji needs to be fired. This Jingji might have disturbed things, so he wished he could have the lantern festivals with him and send him to play outside. So she and Jin Lian mocked and said, You old man, seeing that I am so thin, why are you willing to give me a piece of clothing to wear? Jin Lian said, The thief's life is short, and he gets used to it. He creeps on my feet. I didn't say anything, but now I'm bold and come to ask me for clothes. I'm not the one you insinuated. So why do you want to wear your clothes? Jingji said, It's fine if you don't agree. How can you build a raft to bluff me? The woman said, A thief has a short life. You are a sparrow on the tower, an ant that is very patient and frightened. Just as he was talking, he saw Yulu and Huilian coming out and said to Jin Lian, My aunt is not going because she is inconvenienced and makes my eldest sister uncomfortable. Teach the ladies to walk and come home earlier. Li Zhao's legs hurt, so she can't go. He won't leave. Sun Zui won't leave when she sees her eldest sister, and she won't go out because she's afraid his father will come home and make him angry. Jin Lian said, Don't go. Just me and Sisterly. Wait for his father to come home. Let him scold you. If not, put the spring plum meat and the jade flute in the room, and the orchids in your room will be fragrant. I brought them all to Sisterless room to welcome the spring. Xiao Yu came over and said, My grandma is no longer going. I will go for a walk with the ladies. Yulu said, Tell your grandma, I'll wait for you. After a long time, Xiao Yu asked Yunyang and smiled. Now 3 women were leading a group of men and women. 2 young men, Lion and Huatong, followed with a pair of gauze chandeliers. The son-in-law Chen Jingji kicked the horse platform and set off fireworks and cannons to watch the women. Song Huilian said, Uncle, please wait a moment. Ladies, take me for a walk. I'll come back to the house to chat with you. Jingji said, We can do it now. Huilian said, If you don't wait, I will annoy you for the rest of my life. So she walked into the house and changed into a green flash red satin blouse and a white embroidered skirt. He also put a gold sweat scarf with red pins on his head, with flying gold flowers on his forehead, and gold lanterns hanging on his ears. He came out and followed the crowd, by Meyer, into the moonlight. They looked like immortals, all wearing white silk coats and covered with golden armor. Her head is piled with pearls and greenery. Her face is pink and her lips are red. Jingji and Lakesinger, one on each side, slowly follow the road to bloom lotuses, goldenrods, 1-foot-long orchids, and Sai Yuming. When I walked out of the main market, I saw constant fragrance. Tourists like ants, fireworks and thunder, colorful lights, and the sound of flutes and drums, which was very lively. Visitors saw a pair of gauze lanterns leading the way, and a group of men and women, all dressed in red and green, came over. They thought they were coming from the prince's home, so they didn't dare to look up, so they all hid in the way. Song Huilian called back, Uncle, put a bucket of flowers and let me see. One time he said again, Uncle, let me listen to you. One time, he dropped the flowers and green flowers and picked them up. Another time, he hung up his shoes, supported someone and carried his shoes. He went left and right, only mocking Jingji. Yulu looked down on him and said something. How come I only saw you hanging up your shoes? Yuxiao said. He is afraid of the mud, so he wears 1 yang shoes. Yulu said, ask him to come over and let me see. Are you really wearing 1 yang shoes? Jin Lian said. He asked me for a pair of shoes yesterday, but who would have thought that the dog meat that has become sperm can be worn as a pair? Huilian picked up her skirt and looked at it with Yulu. I saw him wearing 2 pairs of red shoes on his feet, and tying his trouser legs with gauze green thread straps. He said nothing. After a while, I walked through the street and arrived at the lantern market. Jinlian said to Yulu, "Let's go to Sister Li's house on Lion Street now." So he told the painting boy and Lianer to go ahead and light the lanterns, and meander to Lion Street. The boy went to open the door first. Old Feng had already rested. In the room were two girls who were sold by others, sleeping on the king. The panicked old Feng quickly opened the door and let the women in. He turned on the stove and had some tea, then took the pot and went to the street to get some wine. Meng Yulu said, "Old Feng, please stay here and don't go get a drink. We'll have a good time at home. If you have tea, just pour 2 cups for it." Jin Liang said, "Since you are leaving people to have wine, you should order the dishes first." Li Ping'er said, "Mom, I have brought 1 or 2 bottles. If the water is not muddy, who can eat it?" "I need to bring 1 or 2 jars," Yulu said. "He is coaxing you, not canceling. Just waiting for the tea to come." The woman just didn't move. Li Ping'er said, "Mom, why don't you go for a walk over there? What are you doing at home?" The mother-in-law said, "Grandma, look at these 2 karmic obstacles in the house. Who is watching?" Yulu then asked, "Whose family sold these 2 girls?" The mother-in-law said, "One is a maid from a house in the north. She is 13 years old and only has 5 taels of silver. The other is a daughter-in-law from Wang Zubin's family." After the family left, the master tied Yundi in a bun and took her out to sell her for 10 taels of silver. Yulu said, "Mom, I told you that there is a person who wants you. You can earn some money from him." The mother-in-law said, "Sanyang, who really wants it? Tell me." Yulu said, "Now there is only Yuang Shuier in your second wife's room. She doesn't want to be used as a slave, but she is looking for an older girl to serve as her boss. You should sell the older girl to him," because he asked, "How old is this girl?" The mother-in-law said, "He is 17 years old this year." With that said, he brought tea and everyone ate it. The Chunmai, Yuxiao and Huilian were all looked at in front of them. And then they went to the upper floor facing the street and opened the window to look at them again. Chen Jingji urged, "It's late at night. Let's go home quickly." Jin Liang said, "It's strange that the life is short. The people who are urging me can't stop their hands and feet. Why are they so panicked?" Then he called Chunmai and others to come over and then stood up. When Feng's mother sent him out, Li Ping'er asked, "Where did he go safely?" The mother-in-law said, "We haven't come yet today, so I asked me to open the door and close the door in the middle of the night to wait for him." Lai Anner said, "Today Ping Anner went to Yinger's father's house with his father." Li Ping'er told her mother, "Close the door earlier and go to bed. He won't come at all, so as not to miss your sleep. Come to the house early tomorrow morning to send the girl and second mother. You are the Shifo temple elder, please give me your permission." After finishing speaking, watching him close the door, the group of men and women just went home. When I walked to the door of the house, I heard the voice of Han Huizi's wife, Han Sauer, who lived in the house. Because he was a man and promised to be the minister of the stable, he followed people at home and became ill. When he came home drunk, he said that someone had opened his door, stolen his dog, and some things were missing. He sat in the street, drank and cursed people wildly. The women just stood still. Jin Liang envoy came to Anner and called Han's sister-in-law face to face and asked, "Why are you here?" Han's sister-in-law crossed her hands forward, bowed twice, and said, "3 ladies, please listen to what I have to say." So I said it again from the beginning. After hearing this, everyone in the Jade Tower took out some money and fruits from their sleeves and gave him some money. They called Anner and said, "Tell your brother-in-law Chen to take him into the house." Jingji took care of the mockery with Huilian and refused to let him go. The Jinlian messenger came to Anner to help him to his home and told him to come to the house to wash his clothes tomorrow morning. "I told your father to vent my anger for you." Sister-in-law Han thanked her very much and went home. As soon as Yulu and others walked through the door, they saw Bai Sinayang, smiling and wishing blessings before the door, and said, "Where are you 3 ladies? Please come to Han's house to offer tea." Yulu said, "I stopped and asked my sister-in-law because she was crying just now. Thanks to my sister-in-law's kindness, It's getting late, so I won't come, Lady Bai said. Yakula, the three ladies came to the house to blame others. And they laughed at my little family for not being able to serve a cup of tea. She and Sheng were dragged into the room. It turns out that the 8 difficult things to Guanyin and the saints are offered to them above, and a snowflake lantern is hung on the door. Open the door curtain, set up a spring platform, and sit with 3 people. He quickly taught his 14-year-old daughter, the eldest sister, to come over, kowtow to the 3 mothers, and hand them tea. Yulu and Jinlian each gave him to flowers. Li Ping'er took a sweat towel and a penny of silver from his sleeve and bought melon seeds with him. Lady Bai, who liked her, thanked her again and again. Unable to keep the money, Yulu and others got up. When I arrived at the front door, the young man came to greet me at the front door. Jinlian asked, "Has your father ever come home?" Leixing said, "Dad hasn't come home yet." The 3 women also watched Chen Jingji place to 1-foot-long chrysanthemums, a tube of smoked orchid, and a gold lamp and silver stand at the door before going to the back. Simon King didn't come home until the 4th watch. Exactly, after being drunk. He didn't realize how dark the sky was, so he let him go down to the west building under the bright moon. But he said that Chen Jingji had been ridiculing Jin Lian and other women because of his various illnesses, and that he and Hua Lian were talking back and forth with intention. The next morning after washing up, I didn't go into the shop and went directly to Wu Yunyang's room at the back. I saw Li Jiar and Jin Lian accompanying Wu Daguzi, setting the king table and setting out tea. Yunyang went to burn incense in the Buddhist hall. The young man bowed forward and sat down. Jin Lian then said, "Brother-in-law Chen, you are a good man. Yesterday I taught you to send Han's sister-in-law off, but you didn't move. You just treated her like a servant and sent her away. I don't know what Zhangzi said when you were quarreling with your daughter-in-law. Wait for your aunt to burn incense and see if I tell him or not." Jingji said, "You old man. You are still saying that your son almost had an ulcer on his waist yesterday. I walked with you all the way. And then how many miles will it take to get back to the Lion Street house? I have gone through hard work, and you still teach me how to send Han Huizi's wife. It's just a matter of teaching the boy how to do it. God will tell after how long I have slept, and I can't get up this morning." Just as he was talking, Wu Yunyang burned incense and Jingji bowed. Yunyang then asked, "Why did sister-in-law Han get drunk and curse so much yesterday?" Jingji had his door open due to various illnesses, and the dog was missing. He sat in the street crying and cursing. "This man came home this morning, and it's time to fight, but we haven't gotten up yet." Jinlian said, "We came back and persuaded him to go in. What if your father came home and bumped into him?" After that, Yulu, Li Ping'er, and the eldest sister all went to Yunyang's house to have tea, and Jingji also accompanied them. Had tea. The next time the eldest sister came back to the room, she scolded Jingji, "You don't know how to die. You and Lai Wang's daughter-in-law had a quarrel with each other. If the father suddenly finds out about it, the adulterer will be fine, and you will not be executed." But he said that day, Simon King stayed in Li Ping'er's room and got up late. I saw Jing Qianhu, who was newly promoted to the military and horse supervisor, coming to pay my respects. Simon Qingkai got up, combed his hair, wrapped a net towel, got dressed, came out, and chatted with Jing Dujian in the hall. On the one hand, Ping'er went to the back and asked for tea. Song Huilian was playing with Yu Xiao and Xiaoyu in the backyard, betting on melon seeds and getting into a fight. Xiaoyu rode the jade flute underneath and scolded with a smile, "You thief whore, you lost the melon seeds. Don't teach me how to beat them," she called Huilian. "Sister-in-law, come here. Pull one of the whore's legs. Wait for me to enter Japan this whore all at once." While he was stubborn, he saw Ping'an coming and called out, "Sister Yu Xiao, Father Jing is here and asked me to come in and ask for tea." Yu Xiao ignored him and started playing with Xiaoyu. Ping'er just urged him, "It's been a day since I sat down." Song Huilian said, "It's weird, I want tea, but I asked the person who started the stove in the kitchen to go there. Why do you only bother me here? I'm just preparing tea for my parents' room, and I don't care about your tent outside." Then Ping'er walked to the kitchen. On that day, Hu Xiang came to protect his wife. Hu Xiang said, "Prisoner, I'm cooking with my hands here. Just ask for 2 minutes of tea from behind." Baba came and asked me for tea. Ping said, "I'll go to the back. Come, I won't serve tea later." Sister-in-law Huilian said, "It's time to start the cooking process." Hu Xiang then scolded, "What a slut." He decided that he was from my parents' room, and I was born to be a cook. I cook rice for the big guys here, and stir-fry vegetables for the big concubine. How many hands do I have? It's okay to just pour the tea when we start talking about it. Baba came to look for the person who came to the stove. Did you call the person who came to the stove? Even if you missed the tea, I didn't send him up. Ping said, "Dad Jing is here today." Sister-in-law, hurry up and send the tea. I'll bring it up. If you're late, you'll get scolded by Dad again. Now I was pushing here, there, and there, which wasted half a day. After waiting for Yu Xiao to come out with tea fruits and teaspoons, and Ping to come out with tea, the prisoner of Jingdu had been sitting there for a long time, and tried to get up again and again, but was stopped by Simon King. He thought the tea was cold and unpalatable, so he scolded Ping for another cup of tea, and then he got up and went to Jingdu prison. Simon King came in and asked, "Who drank the tea today?" Ping said, "It was the tea served on the stove." Simon King returned to the upper room and told Yunyang, "Today we have tea like this. Why don't you go to the kitchen to find out which servant's wife is cooking? Take it out and ask him, how many times should you beat him?" Xiaoyu said, "Today it's time for Hu Xiang to go to the stove." The panicked Yunyang said, "This crooked bone is waiting to die. The more the tea is served, the more likely it is." At the same time, Xiaoyu asked Hu Xiang to kneel in the yard and asked him how much he wanted to fight. Hu Xiang replied, "Because I was cooking and stir-frying the vegetables. The tea was a little cold." After being scolded several times by Yunyang, she spared him and got up. He was told, "From now on, whenever someone comes in front of your father, teach Yu Xiao and Huilian how to have tea behind them, while the stove is only for everyone's tea and rice." Hu Xiang couldn't bear his anger in the kitchen. Simon King, who had just been waiting, went out. Angrily, he came behind, looked for Huilian, pointed and cursed. "Thief, whore, I took advantage of your heart. That's all. You were born. Those are the lucky parents who live in the house. Are we the wife of the stove?" Baba asked the boy to sit down and ask the stove for tea. "Is it you who called the stove? You know what I know, so we don't eat toads. Meat, they are all natives of the same country. You are just not my father's little wife. Even if you are my father's little wife, I am not afraid of you," Huilian said. "It doesn't matter. You don't have a good cup of tea, father. Why do you care about me? How do you take out someone's anger?" After hearing this, Hu Xiang became more and more angry and cursed. "Whore, you just instigated me to beat me with a few sticks. Why didn't you teach me to beat me? You have raised countless Hans in the Kai family, and you are here to make trouble," Huilian said. "I raise Hans. You see me here. It's not ridiculous. Sister-in-law, you are not a pure aunt either," Hu Xiang said. "Why am I not a pure aunt? I'm better than a whore like you with my legs crossed. You have a handful of millet to count. When you are out there, who doesn't eat it and you laugh at it? You do that business behind your back. Just say that people don't know. You don't care about women, let alone the people below." Huilian said, "What did I say behind my back? Why don't you care about me? You can suppress me. I am not afraid of you," Hu Xiang said. "You know you're not afraid of someone making the decision with you." The two were bickering when Yunyang, who was invited by Xiaoyu, came and drank both of them. "You stinky bitches, don't do this. When you go to work for a living, what are you doing? It's another fight if your master hears it." "I didn't succeed in the fight, but I succeeded when I got back," Hu Xiang said. "If you hit me, I will. It doesn't matter if you don't seduce the whore. I'm risking my life, and it won't be a big deal if I reject you. Let's all leave this house," he said and walked forward. The next time, Song Huilian became more and more arrogant, colluding with Simon King behind his back, hiding everyone in the family, and playing with Yulu. Jin Lian, Li Ping'er, Sister Ximen, and Chun Mai every day. That day, Feng's mother sent a girl, about 13 years old, to Li Ping'er's room to see her, and then sent her to Li Zhao's room. Li Zhao bought it for 5 taels of silver and waited on him in the room. Exactly, it's a waste of birds on the outside and a waste of color on the inside. It doesn't matter if you even get a few seeds. In the morning, I can ride on the carved saddle, and at dusk, I will come back with red and pink fragrance.
Alright, this part of the story ends here.
Want to know what happened next? Let's listen to the breakdown next time.